Fuck the posers. Fuck the PC. Fuck the cancel culture. Fuck it all. Do it. Pasta! Pasta! Who orders what's from the pizzeria? Pasta! 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 Wake up, preacher! Pasta! 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 Wake up, be friends! Pasta! 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 You're into it! Pasta! 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 Something big! Pasta! Pasta! Who orders pasta from the pizzeria? Pasta! 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 Pasta is the Muppets! Is that why you fucking love it? Pasta! Pasta!
Welcome to the Riff Crew. I'm your host Steve Mitchell, back for another big episode here with the Riff Crew, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my brother from another mother, Skull. How you doing, mate?
Hey, man. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen in Cyberland. As you know, this is Skull, broadcasting from the past, present, and future in the Chamber of the Cosmos. Here with my good friend Steve Oz from Ozland. I'm an on-again, off-again DC bomb rock band Black Manta. I've been in the scene for over 35 years. I know people from all over the scene. I also worked at the Smithsonian for 20 years, and so I've incorporated my love and passion for history with my love and passion for music. So as usual, I'm really excited to be here. And we have a special guest with us today, Tommy Carr, my friend and drummer extraordinaire from many bands in the DC area, including Black Market Baby and Black Manta as well. And it's great to have you back with us again, man.
It's great to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Sure, man, of course. I wanted to say, as mentioned, you've been in the scene, the DC scene, the punk scene for going on almost 50 years now. So we have all kinds of questions for you, and so we kind of created an ongoing segment called Raw Power, the DC underground music scene through the eyes of Tommy Carr, because we weren't going to be able to capture it in one show.
There's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack, man, a lot to capture. I mean, you've been in the scene for almost 50 years now, so yeah, man. As I was thinking about it, I was like, an hour or whatever is just not going to cut it. So we'll have to have more than one of these. I mean, when we left off last time, we were talking about this album right here. Let me just pull it up.
There you go. That was a mind blower.
That was the album you said you got for Christmas, right?
I didn't even have to listen to it. I just looked at the cover. I said, wow. But, that's what I thought was one of the few real educations I got on composition, how to put a song together. Listening to Pete Townshend's arrangements, the way he would transition from this to that to the other and carry you through. It was a really good education for like a 7-year-old, 9-year-old.
Well, yeah, and it's also named after you.
Yeah.
Well, you said you got it for Christmas, right? Your
Well,
parents got
unbeknownst to my parents, they just gave it to they gave it to me because they saw my name on it.
right.
And they unleashed this, like, you know, a very wonderful.
It was the beginning. It was like it was the impetus, like the lightning bolt that went off.
They
The
were,
magic.
yeah, a spark.
You had a
They,
cast the spell cast over you.
yeah, and in
Hmm.
combination with other flashpoints in that, you know, I go from like 66 to 72. It was a very exciting time in rock music. And I just happened to be lucky enough to be exposed to just certain things where, it allowed me to, not necessarily go with like popular trends or anything. It was about really exploring that the musical side of it, and like I said, once again, competition or
We'll have
competition,
another one right here that
composition, composition.
you're probably talking about this too,
Yes,
right?
yeah, you got the thumb one. You got the thumb one. I got that
Yeah,
on.
I got
I got that on Straight Records on the Straight label.
yeah, it sounds straight.
It's beat to hell, but I'll never give it up.
So that was the beginning, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about it, because there
Let me
was like a
follow.
roller rink.
Can I
What's the,
can I follow up on that a little bit? That Love It to Death thing, because
sure.
that was um, I had to do a little bit of backtracking with Alice Cooper. You know, my first, when I became aware was the Killer tour when they played Alexandria Roller Rink, and that was probably 71. And I just got like, yeah, I just got, it was like Tommy, the same thing happened when I heard that record. It was transformative. I mean, it really pointed me in directions that
What, Killer or Love It to Death?
Killer was the first one, and I was just so, it grabbed me so, like I got a stranglehold, is and so naturally I go backwards, and you wait for the
Hmm.
next one. But Love to Death was um, soon after that, and then eventually I got back into Easy Action and Pretty's for You. And the further back I went, the more I appreciated what those guys really had.
Hmm.
They became kind of a product of the industry. And
Hmm.
when in I saw him as late in late '73, I got to see him, fortunately. And by early '74, they didn't know it at the time, but they went Psh, like
Right.
that. So for me,
With this
hey,
tour, right?
yeah, that, and they were doing stuff for Muzzle Love. But what happened for me, since I was so, if you want to talk about being in love with something, I mean, I was just like, that was my sustenance. The music thing has always been that way, and then now it's gone, and there was this gap. And then right on the heels of that is when Kiss shows up.
Hmm.
So I got into Kiss, and then that was kind of cool because of the theatrics and all that. And then everything was moving so fast, and there was so much um, innovation and exploration in music those days. These days, it's like you can listen to one song, it sounds like the other, sounds like the other. The beats are all the same, the drum sounds, the
Hmm.
production values, they're all the same. It's like, even I hate to say it, as much as I love them, but Cheap Trick, you listen to new stuff, they're great, they're greatest songs you could ever hear. But if you listen to how they sound, they're vastly different from when like Bunny was in it in the '70s with that really sort of doom 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 doom
Oh
doom
yeah.
kind of beat. He just had, and they had a certain sound which
Hmm.
identified them. And I think that is what is the most important thing as a musician is to find and identify and perfect your own sound
Right.
and not get into like convention because people want to like, join the do this, that, or the other just to get popular. And sometimes
Hmm.
it works, sometimes it doesn't. And so the Alice thing is definitely very, fruitful period at a really opportune time.
Well, also very, very dangerous, very anti-established, very establishment, very controversial in the sense that, I mean, he's a guy, but he's Alice. He's called Alice. So it's
Well,
just,
the funny thing is, and not, the way they were accepted back in like the late 60s by society was quite antithetical to what they really were. They were judged just by the way they looked.
hmm.
And it's not true. They were just working it. They got with the GTOs, and the whole spider thing, there's a little debate where that came from. Was it a poster across the street in New York, or was it Miss Pamela out in LA? Because they were all doing the same thing.
But
And
what do you mean the spider thing?
the eyes, the makeup, spider
Oh,
eyes.
oh yeah, yeah. I always heard it was like the crazy world of Arthur Brown. He just kind of took it to another level, but he probably saw something.
Well, Alice, see, here you go. See, it, in my IMO, in my opinion, Alice copped that from Arthur Brown later in the Alice Cooper years when he switched
Hmm.
it again. Because I look at that, it's like Arthur Brown changed it up a lot. He
Hmm.
didn't do just one thing, but it was just you couldn't not see the similarity there. It was like
Right.
everything's got to come from somewhere. I mean, look at Little Richard, and then look at Escarita, and put the two pictures side by side, and you tell me who came first. And Escarita's doing that shit, I think, before Little Richard was.
Hmm.
So that's the beauty of I think, or that's the most flattering part of you know not just playing other people's songs, about being creative, doing your own thing, is when somebody else imitates it or somebody else
Hmm.
copies something from you. That's the most flattering thing about it. And
Right.
it's like generational. It's like one thing feeds the next, feeds the next, feeds the next, and then you got the Beatles coming out with Revolver, or you got you get these flashpoints in music. I mean, you can look at the early 90s, that whole grunge thing. That was a product of a good 15 or so years of a lot of underground grungy shit, and
Hmm.
they just happened to hit it. And then all of a sudden, there's all these people that had no awareness of what was going on 15 years before, but they're hearing this. And so
Hmm.
that's
Sure.
that's what they relate to.
Yeah, a lot of the times it's kind of a slow evolution that people don't realize is going on in the background. But I wanted to ask you about there's like this legendary club, the Silver Spring, like the roller rink or whatever it was called. And, obviously I never got to go there. Did you ever what was it called again? And did you ever get to go to any shows there?
I mean, Alexandria or
Was it
Silver.
Alexandria roller rink?
That's where Killer Tour was.
Oh, okay.
Alice Cooper played the Killer Tour. They stopped at the Alexandria Roller Rink. No,
I
I've
think
never been.
there was a famous roller rink around here where a bunch of
Yeah.
like bands would play.
Oh yeah, that was like in Shady Grove Arena, which was at 270 Shady Grove Road, which is like a dome thing, sound in the round.
Hmm.
T-Rex played there. Jethro, Yes opened for Jethro Tull
Oh,
there,
I got
which I
this
didn't
right here.
see. Yeah, which I didn't see. But the coolest thing in the world, and this is why I love him for all eternity, is my brother was there. I have him right here. He's under my. He's. I keep my family close. He's he was just he was on top of it, and he had the ear. He was like catching all these sounds, and then he's turning me on to it.
Mm.
Hey, check this out. When I heard Benefit, Jethro Tull Benefit,
Hmm.
you know, um, there's a song with you there to help me. It just, I mean, I start crying when I listen to that song because it's so there was so much great music going on, and at the speed and the variety. I mean, it's just like everywhere things were happening, and now these days everything has been like kind of singularized into this and this and this,
Homogenized.
homogenized.
Yeah, now with AI, it's going to be a million times worse. But you know,
Yeah,
that's funny. I'm thinking now. So, yeah, the Alexandria roller rink. Do you remember? And I wish I would have gotten it out. But do you remember the Barry Richards show? Did you ever watch that as a kid?
I didn't actually. Well, actually, not as a kid. I didn't watch it, but WINX was on Rockville Pike, right at Viersville Road and 355. That's where the radio station was.
Hmm.
And Barry Richards either broadcast from there or they carried his show from there. So we're local, and this is back in the day of AM radio.
Hmm.
There's FM. I think INX was AM, but so yeah, Barry Richards has been on the radar since the early '70s.
Well, the reason I ask, he's a bit of a legend here, a DJ legend. He interviewed the Beatles, and they released a DVD set, and I went to meet him at the AFI Silver in Silver Spring because they had a promotional thing for his a movie about his life and about the Barry Richards show. And on the DVD is Alice Cooper. They're playing Black I'm
Juju.
18 and Black Juju,
Yeah,
and it's incredible. So I mean, a
and
lot of people, kids got turned on by that as well. So
yeah,
I just wasn't
that's
sure, like, if you ever watched that show back in the day.
not back in the day, but it's easily found online with
Sure,
Barry
but you
doing
but
it.
you knew about it.
But the thing is that, well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Barry Richards is smart, and he really protects what he has.
Hmm.
So it's the whole archive of whatever he's got.
Sure.
It's
Hmm.
it's it's not just going to be readily available, but there are things that you can see, and the Alice performance was one.
Oh
And
yeah.
and the thing is, what really I thought was the coolest is when Alice Cooper is being first interviewed, how just totally fucking cool he was and laid back, and he was just like he was in his zone, man. He was just
Yeah.
and he was the kind of guy that could take anything from anywhere and just you know it wouldn't phase him. He just he's
Right.
some people get rattled by that. Yeah, but he's just really cool dude.
Wait.
I've seen plenty of interviews, and he's like that in interviews. It's
Hmm. Well,
pretty.
yeah, one of the reasons I wanted to ask you about that is because Joe Hasselvander, from Pentagram and Raven, he also played in Black Manta for a minute, but he saw that show as
Yeah,
well when he was a kid. He saw that Barry Richards show, and of course it blew his fucking mind. So,
right.
but that Alexander roller rink, is a bit of a legendary place. I mean, did you ever get to see any other bands there besides the Alice Cooper band?
Oh no, I didn't see anybody there.
Oh,
My
okay.
bro- my two brothers went, and
Oh, okay.
they bought home the tour program,
Oh,
and they gave it to me to look at. I looked at it, and I was like, "Holy fuck! What is this?" It like I just immediately needed to know more.
you were drawn to it.
Yeah, I wish I had that, man. All that stuff, and the same thing from Kiss '75, Capitol Center. I had the
Hmm.
book. I still got the poster on my wall from that show. It's cool, man,
Killer.
and I wish I had that book because you can see all that stuff online, all the pics and everything. But the hard copy is a cool thing.
And we're talking about like, your inspiration and the spell that was cast over you, it's like the slow evolution of music. And obviously one of the biggest things we did talked about a little bit last time
It,
was the actual album Raw Power. Like when you first heard it, how transformative it was, and it just, basically, changed your life essentially.
that was
Um,
that's the next. It's the same thing as the Killer Tour program. When I saw it, I was literally hooked. I mean, I just that's what started it.
well, the
The-
the image is very, it's
yeah, well,
primal. It's primal. It's
yeah,
animalistic.
yeah,
there's a real like an animal charisma. You know what I mean? It's like with the
I got
makeup.
I got this. The Mick Rock book.
Oh, right.
This let me. I'm not going to try to find a picture, but yeah. The thing is that the first experience I had with Raw Power was I was grocery shopping with my mother at the Supergiant on Rockville Pike at Montrose and Rockville. It's still there. There's a giant there, but it
Mhm.
was called Supergiant because it had a grocery store and then it also had like a department store side, and they had record bins, lots of record bins. And as soon as you walk in the door, that's where all the records are. And Raw Power was like in the first couple of few bins. And as soon as I walked in the store, I saw that picture and I was like,
It's like,
what is this? Holy smokes.
right.
So I bought it and took it home. And then once I heard it, it was just like, it was like nothing else. Nothing else I ever heard. I have been going through all from Puff the Magic Dragon to
Right.
you know to wherever, and it's like now we're here. You
Well, yeah,
know,
so this is a part of this
yeah.
your slow evolution to where you ended up becoming. You talked about your brother starting his studio, his recording studio for a bit, and you said that there were some shows
He's
like
still there. He's still there.
right, some shows in the backyard. Um, but you mentioned there was one of the guys that was there ended up in the Voidoids later on.
Oh, Ivan.
Yeah, Richard Hellman.
Ivan Julian was a good friend of my brother, Mike, who was a bass
Hmm.
player, and they got a couple things together, and they used to practice at the house, same house, at the studio is still there, same house and
Hmm.
everything. And so Ivan's coming over, and he's like the coolest dude, and they went to England after they would have. Mike graduated high school in '74. They were about the same age. So my best guess is, as soon as Mike graduated high school, probably somewhere in like '74, '75, not as late as '76, but they both decided to go to England to try to see what's going on, just check it out. And Ivan ended up playing with the Foundations. He picked up a touring gig with them, and Mike was still over there, and he was hanging out with Paul Whaley over in England. He was telling me like stories like he was at a party somewhere. Fucking Paul Whaley's there. It's like,
From Blue Cheer?
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So But Mike came back home. But yeah, and Ivan went on. He's you know Ivan Julian. I love the Voidoids. When the Voidoids came out, the Peaches records on Twinbrook. I think it was on Twinbrook in Rockville. Is they carried all those Sire records. They carried because Sire put out the Dead Boys, uh,
Mm.
Voidoids, a bunch of other punk bands. Because
The
Sire,
Ramones.
yeah, remote, yeah, because nobody was willing to pick them up. But Sire Records decided to sign these punk bands in the mid to late '70s. So here I am record shopping again, and here's a picture of Richard Hell with his like, "You make me," then and
Right.
on the there's Ivan, guy I used to hang out in the basement with, it's like just so he's always had a real special place as far as like musicians that I've known.
Did you say that you guys actually your brother put on live shows in the backyard or
Yeah, they were more for just uh it was like a very elaborate form of band practice.
oh okay.
Let's go outside. uh I don't think they built any kind of platform or stage or anything. The yard's pretty level, so
But
but
it was all local bands?
well, I don't ever recall other bands coming in. They may have been just like kind of trying things out on their own.
Hmm.
And or it was an excuse to let off some pyrotechnics because that was back in the day when you could just go to the local gun shop and get a tin of black powder, no questions asked. You walk out, get some Estes bottle rocket launcher things. We figured it out with coffee cans and light switches. And so we timed like we'd like set off flash pots and bring, and so because we want to be like, that's what everybody's doing. We didn't have the lasers like BOC, but you know, it was still, you do it for
Well,
fun.
was it a band you were jamming in?
Oh no, I didn't play with them. No, I wasn't playing with them at all.
Well,
This is all my
who
brother's
was
gig,
it?
and I'm just hanging around.
It was your brother's band.
Yeah, that was Steve's band that I
Hmm.
remember, and there were other musicians that came through. There was a guy named Jeff. He had a black SG, played like Buck Dharma, not Buck Dharma, but Eric Bloom.
Hmm.
And so it was just kind of cool, just like seeing that, regardless of if it was in a bona fide show or anything. And then eventually, um, I met up. Strangely, through some neighborhood friends. They had a mutual friend who was a guitar player that lives up past Laytonsville. And so, and I'm hanging out with my friends, and I was actually playing guitar in those days. And Doug across the street was the drummer, and Carl was the bass player, and Bryce came down as a guitar player. And eventually, I guess somehow we hit it off or whatever, and we decided to like, do something. And we went through a few incarnations. We're just like kids playing like covers from the late '70s, everything from Zeppelin and Queen and Aerosmith and just Ted Nugent, and you know nothing too extravagant, nothing too progged out like extended riffs, just like 3-4 minute songs.
No
And
Rush.
yeah, no, none of that. Yeah, but
None of that rubbish.
he had that really fluid bluesy technique in his touch, and he played a Les Paul through whatever rig he had, and that was just, he just the groove was there. So we hung with that for a few years, went through a bunch of names, and we eventually, like I said, when Peaches was stocking all those Sire records and everything, we're still keeping it. I mean, we're into Devo and the Pretenders, and we decided to like go punk. When Nevermind the Bollocks came out, that was another one, and
Oh.
we decided to change our name to the Strangers because I like the Stranglers. There you go.
I had it ready to go as soon
It's
as you
all
mentioned it.
it's always at arm's length, man. Always.
Yeah.
And, I was really digging the Stranglers, so we decided to call ourselves the Strangers. And
Hmm.
we played like maybe one, two times out. I had the good fortune of getting the plug pulled
Yeah, this
by
was
the
the other one I wanted to show real
promoter.
quick was the
There you
Rocket to
go.
Russia. I wanted to show that real quick.
Yeah, so that was kind of, if you add all this, just keep adding up, doing your math, and it leads up to,
Here's another one.
I got the coolest damn, I almost wore the damn shirt tonight. I got my Johnny shirt on, man.
Oh, Dead Alive, Johnny Thunders. And I had to pull the Clash out too.
Yeah, that
So
was
all,
another
I
one.
mean that was the explosion. You were that's what I
Yeah,
wanted to talk about is
like the
like you
buzz,
were part
the
you were the right
Buzzcocks.
age. You were the right age for this punk explosion. It was all just like it was all just happening like it just like happened overnight.
I'm
But
like four.
there was a slow evolution, but when it happened, it just exploded.
Yeah, and I was like 14, 15 ish. When I was getting exposed to all this, and that's when I was playing with Bryce, and we went through a bunch of band names. Quasimodo, Aladdin Sane, and then we became the Strangers. And I was really down with the whole punk sound at that time. And the Dead Boys. That's another Sire band that Peaches had that I picked up like right out of the gate. And whatever it is, I have no reason. It wasn't like I was not content or I wasn't happy doing what I was doing. But I'm flipping through the city paper, the Washington City paper, and I'm looking at the musician ads, and it says something, uh, punk band looking for a drummer who knows the Sex Pistols and Ramones or something like that. Real simple. And so I responded, it was the Penetrators. And I go down there, I'm 16 at that point, and it's like I went down there and these guys are, George is 10 years plus older than me, but they're
Mm.
cool. And, so, and right at that time, they had cut one track. Well, they may have cut more, but one track was included on the first Limp sampler, 30 Seconds Over DC, The Break, which is a really
Oh,
cool,
was that put out by Skip Groff?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, which is a really cool song. It's like basic chugging punk rock, no frills, cool riffs, cool licks, hooks. They're not trying to, they're just being like down and dirty and everything. But I'm not on that. But it got pressed. But on the back cover, there's the linear notes, and then in parentheses says Tommy Carr now drums for the Penetrators. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So and then we did another one with Malcolm Peplow at a place called the Soundbox. He had an 8-track in down in Virginia, and we cut some tracks there, which ended up on another sampler. Some of them. So George was like the archivist in that band.
Hmm.
So if you're looking for that stuff, you're just curious, I can put you in touch with him, and I'm sure he.
Well, I mean, I'm fascinated to know how did you switch from drums, bass to guitar to drums so easily? How did you do that?
Um,
How were you like, I'm playing the guitar, this band's looking for a drummer, I'm gonna do that. I mean, what gave you the balls to be like, I'm just gonna, did you just start playing the drums or were you already kind of messing around with them?
no, I was messing around, dude. We got to go back. We got to go way back in the Wayback Machine, man. I mean, I'm talking like mid '60s.
Oh, you did mention it in the previous
My first,
show
yeah,
segment about how you
my
would just
first,
bang on stuff.
yeah, my first experience with picking up two things that you can fling around that
Right,
you get
right, right.
near
Yeah.
pencils. Yeah, that whole thing. So
So you
that's
are you were already just kind of messing with the drums.
and my two brothers being guitar players, um, there was always a guitar sitting around, an acoustic sitting, a cheap one, but still sitting around the house. And um, the first song that I learned was "House of the Rising Sun."
Cool.
Because it's like, however, it's a what, a 12 bar, I forget what it is, but and I was able to like form chords on the neck fairly naturally. It just my fingers just before the arthritis kicked in, I was able to just like go. I didn't have to look. I could just like feel and like I could go. And then Stairway to Heaven. Well, Zeppelin 4 came out, and I was playing Stairway to Heaven on an acoustic really soon after that record came out.
Hmm.
Just like learning and probably fudging my own chord voicings, not playing it, but it sounded right, and the picking was right. And so I've always had this interest in melody, and inevitably, I think the two are going to get merged. I'm going to think of when I'm thinking of drum arrangements, they're applied to what's the melody doing, what's the rhythmic structure of the melody. Because like singers, when they sing in a rhythm.
Hmm.
It's not just hit notes or range or anything like that. It's like where you place the words, where you don't place the words. That creates a rhythm. And it's really important for drummers to like tune into that. And I think Keith Moon did that just without, I think he just did it because that's just the way he is. He's always playing off Roger Daltrey.
Hmm.
So, I
Oh,
think,
wait, so when you saw the ad, you already had the confidence to be like, oh, I can do that.
well, yeah, back up a little bit to the guitar thing, because when I went electric, I'm probably borrowing my brother's stuff, but I was playing electric guitar in this like cover band with the guys in the neighborhood, and we did a Halloween party. I forget what year it was. It would have been probably 74, 75 or so, and we all put the face paint on and shit. I got some black jeans with some like silver acrylic paint, like paint the jeans up and shit, you know. And we're doing like stuff off of Hotter Than Hell. Come on, love me.
You did the Kiss
You know,
thing.
yeah. So that guitar thing, and I've always had that ambition to do that, but I learned or I figured out that I'm better on the drums. The
Hmm.
drums, the drums, I can just like throw something down, and the guitar, I have to practice and learn and everything. So
Hmm.
I took the easy route, and we did
You were born a drummer. You were born a drummer. You got the rhythm in you.
luckily enough with that melodic influence always informing what I'm doing. Because you always got to play to the song. Bottom
Hmm.
line, play the song. I don't care how simple it is. Play to the song. Make the song work. And then
So
we
was
did
there
we
like how much material do you think in the Penetrators, like, is an album's worth, EP's worth? What do you think is out
Oh,
there? Because I only know of like one or two songs.
we were doing full sets. We were playing around DC.
Is any of
Uh,
that stuff out there? Was
uh,
that ever captured?
that was that was before the days of smartphones, where everybody's a
You guys
videographer.
were doing full sets of original material?
Well, we did Pushing Too Hard. We did Little Red Book by Love,
Nice.
and
The Seeds, they're pushing too hard, the Seeds, right?
yeah,
Wow. Okay. Killer.
I think there was a Yardbirds tune in there. Um, and somehow we landed this gig with the Cramps, and this is in 1979 at a place called
Wow.
the LBJ Club, which is right down Capitol Hill, and that's like an office building district. It's not an entertainment district really. There was a restaurant, and at night, I guess the owners would open it up to to bands. I mean, for some reason,
To
they
all the
decided
freaks,
to open this place up to live music. So they booked the Cramps and the Penetrators,
that's crazy.
and the Black Market Baby guys were already in the scene
Hmm.
because Paul Cleary was there before I joined a band with him, and it was nuts because the room, it wasn't big. It had a super low ceiling with acoustic tiles in the ceiling. And Lux Interior doing what Lux Interior does with the mic stand, eventually there's holes starting to be popped into that ceiling. And next thing you know, the ceiling starts coming down a little bit. And it comes down more. By the end of the night, the whole ceiling, the punks trashed that place. This is Anybody that was there will affirm this. The ceiling ended up on the floor at the end of the night.
Wow.
I met Brian Gregory in the kitchen. I think he was trying to hit on me, but whatever.
Wait, who's that?
The guitar player, the guy spits
Oh,
cigarette.
from the Cramps. Okay.
He came out in a scuba diving outfit with a polka dot flying V, with the hair on one side, blonde on one side, black on the other.
Hmm.
He's doing the Brian thing, man. You know,
Right.
he's a true artist. But that was a very memorable gig.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, I think um I think right now would be a good time. We can kind of this would be the part two of the continuing saga, which is the raw power, your story. Because
Yeah,
I want to go back and I want to talk about when the Sex Pistols came out, and that's going to take an hour. I want to focus on that album, like how it transformed and how it affected you, and because you've told me a couple of stories that I remember, and I just want to focus on that part, and then we'll build up to we'll talk more about the Penetrators, and then we'll build up to the Black Market Baby, and we'll continue from there.
I got all night, man. I might hit the loo, but fire away.
Yeah. Well, I think right now this is probably a good time. This will be the part two of our segment. But like I said, man, it's really awesome to talk to you about this. I think it's really invaluable for people to know about the beginnings of the scene, the DC scene, and how it started and how it evolved. Because I know you have a lot of stories, and I wanted to I wanted to talk about your beginnings with music and your inspiration and the magic of music that was the spell that was cast over you. And then I wanted to slowly build up to everything that we'll be getting to in the coming segments. But um, But right now, I think so we'll do that for next time. How does that sound?
Sure.
All
Sure.
right. Awesome, man. Well, I just have one last thing to say, and that is remember, look to the stars, carry that torch of enlightenment, and strive to be a disciple of rock and roll and the Brotherhood of Orpheus. Peace.
Always.
Right on, man.
All politicians are grubby little cunts, a lot of them. All filthy fucking liars. This is about the death of manufacturing in Australia. It's called Nation of Ghosts. Company sells its soul to foreign shores. Gives us more money to be made when it's made from the sweat of foreign slaves. Be a nation of ghosts. A nation of ghosts. We'll be a nation of ghosts. A nation of ghosts. Nation of ghosts and forgotten dreams. A wasteland of empty factories. You can build your mansion on the hill with a view of the country that you killed. We'll be a nation of ghosts. A nation of ghosts. Be a nation of ghosts. A nation of ghosts. Thank you.